Pet overpopulation is actually an epidemic right now. There are thousands and thousands of homeless animals on the streets and in the shelters.
This has been an issue in the entire 18 years that I've been in this career field. We have more animals in this community, in this world, in the United States than we have homes to put them in. What we end up seeing is the impact on the animals themselves. We end up seeing more animals in need of homes, both dogs and cats.
The last quarter of this year, about 7% more animals are coming into shelters nationwide than are leaving. So that means that animals, that our shelter walls are more crowded, our facilities are more crowded, and that animals are therefore staying longer.
Approximately 7.6 million companion animals enter animal shelters nationwide every year. Of those, approximately 3.9 million are dogs and 3.4 million are cats. The two main causes of pet overpopulation are allowing cats and dogs to reproduce with little likelihood of finding homes for the offspring, and owners having to give up their pets because they can no longer care for them or no longer want them. This is a serious issue. Overcrowded animal shelters are unable to care for the millions of stray pets in the United States. Sadly, not enough individuals take pets out of shelters for adoption to reduce the overcrowding. The majority of these cats and dogs are not spayed or neutered, which adds to pet population.
Cats can reproduce at 4 months of age, and they can produce 2 to 3 litters in a year, if not more. And, dogs are not far behind. So basically, it's just growing at an exponential rate. We get 50 phone calls and inquiries every day asking us to take in animals, and being responsible in rescue means you can't, overwhelm yourself. So if we don't have the volunteer capacity, the foster capacity, and the funds to adequately care for the animals that are already under our care, we can't then add more to that mix.
If we don't have the resources available to really make that impact, or we don't have the community able to come together and make that impact, you're going to start to see it rise to a breaking point. And when I say to a breaking point, the environment, the community at large, the population can only sustain a certain population, right? And at that point, population will begin to control itself. It's sad, and that's one of the things that my officers see frequently. You'll see animals hit by a car. You'll see animals that are becoming more assertive and more aggressive out in the field and putting the community at risk. And those are things that are going to start happening if our overpopulation gets too far out, because then our environment can't sustain the population.
If people don't help, if people continue to behave exactly the way that they have been, and it's the way that agencies like mine have trained people to behave. You find a lost dog, you bring them to a facility, and just hand them over and we'll fix it. If we continue to do that, we're going to see more animals be euthanized. We just are. I hope that I don't have to make that decision, but across the country, we're going to see more animals be euthanized. That 7% gap means that other shelters are making the decision to euthanize for space and for time.
6 to 8 million animals are taken to shelters in the United States every year. Of these, an estimated 3 to 4 million are euthanized, including 2.7 million that are considered healthy and adoptable. Of the dogs entering shelters, approximately 35% are adopted, 31% are euthanized, and 26% of dogs who came in as strays are returned to their owners. Of the cats entering shelters, approximately 37% are adopted, 41% are euthanized, and less than 5% of cats who came in as strays are returned to their owners. So, what can we do to change these numbers?
If people start becoming involved, whether that's through volunteering at a shelter, because honestly, even volunteering at the shelter, that makes a huge difference. Our volunteers come in here, they walk our pets, they walk our dogs, they take them out into the community. That helps to de-stress the dogs, makes them present better, gets them into a fun-loving home, right? The TNR, Trap, Neuter, Return, is going to make a huge difference on pet overpopulation. So I think if we start getting our community involved, if you just express your love for the pets in the community, even through people, you're going to start seeing a decline and a decrease. It doesn't happen overnight. It takes time. It takes years. But you will start to see a decrease.
Well, I always like to say that there are a million different ways that the average person can help. And, you know, if you can't volunteer in person, there's ways to help remotely. You can foster an animal. Fostering an animal literally is saving the life of an animal, because it will make the difference of whether we can take that animal into rescue or not. It also frees up space for another animal to come to the shelters. These problems are not going to be solved by rescues and county shelters alone. They have to be also attacked by the community. Every single person is going to have to pitch in order to, you know, help these overpopulation problems.